says to contemplate clear seeing. For us to have clear seeing, we need a healthy eye and we need light. Luang says, before we can have right view, we need light, meaning the light of wisdom. And it's this light of correct wisdom, correct understanding, that allows us to have right mindfulness, or samasati, and right samadhi, samadhi. And samasati and samadhi are very closely related in the practice. There's one other word you'll have heard, sati and sampajanya. Sati is mindfulness, sampajanya is clear comprehension, which means an all-round awareness of what the mind is focusing on. The way we develop right view in the practice, there's different ways the Buddha talks about this. One is what we call developing tittuju kamma, bringing our minds or straightening our views so that our minds fall in line with the Dhamma. If we are able to do this, developing our wisdom, contemplating, bringing our views in line with the Dhamma, then everything will fall into place in the practice, because everything will be informed or directed by this right view and will not meet with any danger. If we're still getting caught into wrong views, attaching to wrong views which aren't coming from wisdom, then this will always lead to suffering and confusion in the mind. The question was, it is very hard for me to focus on the breath. Thoughts keep coming up, but deep down I feel that I can one day somehow become a stream enterer. How can I stop the thoughts? Luang just answered briefly at first, said that can you find any purity in the dirt? This is the way to contemplate our thinking, our thoughts, when we have a lot of distracting thoughts, is to find that part or that place that is clean and pure in them. There are many ways to stop distracted thinking and stop us from falling into moods, different moods, and attaching to different moods. If you really can't stay with the breathing during meditation, it's usually because of old memories, sanya, coming up, leading on to thought proliferation, and sometimes different moods we get caught into. These things disturb us, so we have to find different ways to hold the mind in place with mindfulness, and there are many techniques. A very good one is to practice counting the breath for improving your concentration. So as you focus on the feeling of the breath entering your nostrils, you count 1 when the breath enters, and when the breath leaves you count 1. When the breath enters again you count 2, and when it leaves again you count 2. When it enters again you count 3, when it leaves you count 3. When it enters again you count 4, when it leaves you count 4. When it enters again you count 5, when it leaves you count 5. Once you've reached 5, mindfully concentrated breaths, in-breaths and out-breaths, then go back and start again at 1. And do the same thing again, counting each in-breath and out-breath, until you reach 6 in-breaths, 6 out-breaths. If you're able to do that without a break in your mindfulness, then go back to 1 and count right through until 7 in-breaths and out-breaths. If you can do that, then go on to 8, if you can do that to 9, until you can do 10 in-breaths and 10 out-breaths, mindfully aware, without a break in your concentration. If you can do this, then your mind will be peacefully focused, your awareness will be very refined, and you will have let go of all those thoughts about the past and the future. All these different moods and conditions of mind will have disappeared. And if you can do that, working up until 10 in-breaths and 10 out-breaths without losing any concentration, you'll even be able to measure how long 10 in-breaths and 10 out-breaths take to do. You'll know the time for that. So then you can even measure time for yourself from your own breathing. You'll be able to measure in half an hour how many in-breaths and out-breaths you have. When you can do half an hour, then you can move on to 1 hour, and so on. You'll know how much time one cycle of in-breath and out-breath takes, and then how long, in say half an hour or an hour, how many cycles you have. This is a good way to develop present moment awareness. You can even do this in different postures, when you're walking, standing, or even when you're lying down to go to sleep. You can know whether you're falling asleep with a peaceful, concentrated mind or with a scattered mind, with mindfulness or not. Once you've learned to do this in the lying down posture as you're falling asleep, you can be mindful of your in-breaths and out-breaths, then you can even determine how long you're going to fall asleep for, and you can fix it. Generally, if you fix it, if you're able to control your mindfulness like this and concentrate on the in-breaths and out-breaths, you'll be able to fix the time you sleep to about 4 hours or 4.5 hours. And usually you will be able to determine this to within 15 minutes of what you want, without using a clock or any other means. All of us can learn to practice like this, but you have to have the effort and energy in the practice. The kind of effort and energy the Buddha encouraged us to have is what we call virya rampa, means persistent effort, persistent energy in the practice. This is one of the bodhipakya dhammas, the various factors and qualities, or the dhammas that lead to the realization of the dhamma, the different attainments that come with insight. If we develop the right causes, then the realizations will follow. But we have to develop in many different areas to support this practice. To what extent are everyday happenings in life caused by karma? Is everything, especially passing exams, etc., dependent on karma? Or does effort count at all? And Paul says this question, it depends on worldly factors usually. He says, usually if you're close and have some kind of relationship with the people who set the exams, you tend to pass. If you're not very close, have no particular connection with them, you tend to fail, from his experience. But our own efforts can have some influence. Exams are set to test our memory, our understanding of something, how complete it is. And if we have got a complete memory of it, we can remember it well, or a complete understanding, then we can pass. You could say that's a result of our karma, because karma is action. And if we act well and in the right way, well, it can create the conditions that we can pass the exam. The Buddha talked about two main kinds of karma. There's akusala karma unwholesome karma made through body, speech, mind, and kusala karma, wholesome karma made through body, speech, mind. And he distinguished these two types. When we make kusala karma, wholesome karma, then there will be no unwholesome mind states present when we're making that wholesome karma. Means our thinking will be very positive, there won't be any delusion, they'll have different wholesome qualities there, such as the presence of, say, intelligence, kindness, compassion, faith, and so on. Very much like water that is clear, has nothing mixed in, say no dirt mixed in with it. Akusala karma, unwholesome karma, is made with body, speech, mind, and we can see that how it is, what its nature is, very easily in our daily lives. Say for instance, someone was angry with their dog. Even an animal, a dog, can tell when somebody is in an unwholesome mind state or acting in an unwholesome way. They can see it in their face, in the way they move. They'll know it. No one needs to tell the dog. It knows, and it will try and avoid that person, get away from them. That's the nature of a kusala. It's not attractive. It's not good. So the Buddha said that we should try to develop wholesome karma through practice of dana, sila, bhavana. So in this case, if you pass your exams, it's a result of good karma. Well, yes, that's possible, but you also have to remember that the world is full of mud. You can't say the world is pure when there's still mud around. Question, dear Ajahn, what is the surest, quickest path to Sotapanna? You have to remember, when you want to take shortcuts or do things in the quickest, straightest way, there is sometimes danger in that, because there's always no guarantees. Because you're taking, say, a shortcut, you don't have an absolute guarantee that you'll get there safely. So people like to travel in aeroplanes because it's the quickest, fastest way to get from one point to another. But if the engine breaks down mid-air, mid-flight, then you're in trouble. To practice non-attachment, complete non-attachment, we say, well, this is the shortest, directest way to becoming Sotapanna. But the Buddha was very wise. He knew we still live in the world, in society, and it's difficult to not attach to anything. One will still have various duties and responsibilities to perform as one practices. To just let go of everything is not necessarily very practical. The Sotapanna stream enterer has abandoned Sakkaya Ditthi, this identification with the khandhas as a self. That view of the body and mind as a self, that's completely gone. So it means there's a certain protection there in the mind, a certain peace. There's no confusion, no danger can arise because that identity, self-identity, has been broken. This is the defining quality of the Sotapanna. They've abandoned this. They've abandoned vicikicca, all the doubt and uncertainty about the practice and the way of practice. And they've abandoned siddhapatha paramasa, all blind or deluded attachment to rituals, external practices. They've even reduced the amount of dosa, or anger, and raga, lust in their mind. So the mind is, this is quite a refined attainment already. But to get to this point it's not a shortcut or the shortest, quickest way. It has to be the right amount, just the right amount of practice, the right amount of time, all the right qualities. to really make that fruition come true. This is the last question because of time. We're running well over now. What is the difference, and how can one tell the difference between deep thought and insight? The difference between, say, deep thought and insight, which actually leads to realization, is the view of the practitioner, or the ditthi, samadhi, the view. Lokuttara panya is different from Lokiya panya. Meaning Lokuttara is transcendent insight, which leads to complete purification of the mind, letting go of attachment. Lokiya panya, or worldly wisdom, worldly understanding, worldly thinking, is very straightforward. It will teach you this is self, and this is not self, this is atta, this is anatta. But Lokuttara is the clear and firm seeing of no self, the seeing that there is no ownership, we have no title deeds to this body and mind, there's no sense of ownership of any of our experience of these five khandhas. A simple comparison between these two levels of understanding and knowledge is that, say in the case of two people meet each other in the street, say, normally when we meet each other we ask, are you well? And most people in the world, when, say, if they have no particular illness or problems, they'll say, yes, I'm well, yes, I'm fine, as their answer. But you could say the mind with Lokuttara panya, this transcendent insight, they wouldn't answer, yes, I'm well, they answer, good enough to bear with. It's good enough to bear with. The answers are different, and this is something to take away and contemplate. So we've reached the end of that session. There's still questions left. I don't know if we'll get them answered today, we'll see.